Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And, in this lesson, right, I was wanting to speak on a few things, since I'm in commute, might be a bit more on the commentary side. Though I'll try to quote precepts as they come to mind. And, I was just meditating on the notion or the idea of sincerity. Okay, and what I mean by sincerity, I mean sincerity in general is good, but focusing more on sincerity in serving the Lord, sincerity in this truth, sincerity in this ministry, and it goes a long way. Okay, sincerity in this ministry goes a long way because with true and genuine sincerity in doing the work of the Lord, serving the Lord, for the Lord's sake, right? For doing the work's sake and not for to please your own belly. You go a long way, right? Because the scriptures say that the Most High seeth not as man seeth, right? The Most High doesn't look, on the outward, but mainly He looks on the inward, so the Most High can tell what you're thinking. When you read some of these Psalms, right? The Psalms that were written by King David, you notice that he mentions how the Lord should try his reins, right? Should judge his integrity, because these are traits of a person or an individual that are not, you can't name those things to the Lord, right? You can act a certain way around others, but when you put up the act because nobody's around, the Most High is always around, right? So he always sees it, and when I say it'll take you a long way, is that you often see individuals, they'll come into the truth, they'll join the camp, they'll push for a certain while, right? They'll teach, and to the naked eye, it looks like, yeah, well, this person is a man of the Lord, they're doing everything that a man of the Lord should be doing. But sometimes it can be surprising or unforeseen to a certain degree. Some brothers have that ability to be able to just feel that discernment, right? To feel like, this guy's spirit is kind of, he looks like he's mirroring everything that's going on, but there's certain things about him that just, they don't pass the check. But you don't say anything because, well, you got to watch and see, right? The Lord brought the individual in for a reason. And these are just hypotheticals, right? But I'm trying to paint a picture into your mind so that the message can be better received and clearer. But in any case, to the naked eye, it looks like this person is doing what a man of the Lord will be doing and should be doing. However, how the individual is actually thinking about what they're doing, how they're feeling about what they're doing, their faith in the Lord, which is we know that it influences your actions, but you can make certain actions. Right? You can say you did something, you can do something just because others are around. But when nobody's around, or in your inward mind, you're doing something, what are you actually thinking? And those are the things the Lord sees. Those are the things we don't see. So you see an individual come to camp for years, they're always there, but in their mind, maybe they're dreading it, right? In their mind, maybe they're like, I gotta go do this thing again. But outwardly, they have to make it look like, yeah, it's like, I gotta go, it's time to go push the word so that they don't come off to anybody else as, some of this guy. Or they don't get kicked out or get rebuked. And the Lord sees all. And so they might labor for a bit, as how should I give that parable, right? They might labor for a bit and then soon something happens and then boom, they're gone. The Lord took the spirit off them, or the Lord put them in a situation to reveal their actual true character or their true spirit. And then it's like the same pattern again and again. They'll turn over, and then the whole ministry now becomes about whoever it is that they were upset about. It doesn't even go into like it'd be one thing if you're just like trying to explain a situation, a scenario, and they call it a day, and then just push the word just so others can get the other side. But it's another thing when the other side never stops. All of a sudden, the other side, which is your side, has become a doctrine that's worth years of videos over and over and over again. Hello from the other side. Time for you to hear how I feel about this, that, and the third. And as you're doing that, to be quite frank, the Lord doesn't really care about that. And what I mean by that is, you have some individuals that they get butthurt because maybe they were spoken to a certain way, or I don't know, they go into a situation where maybe it was a misjudgment, right? Maybe the person misspoke and thought you were somebody else, or whatever the case is. And individuals that are not sincere, they'll take that and turn it, right. What was it say? Make it a bowl out of something like that. You take a little hole and turn it into like a giant something. You get what I'm trying to say. If you don't, then it's all right. Don't worry about it too much. But they'll make a big deal out of something that's small, and then they'll let that fester, and they'll become bitter about it. That's why I said the Lord doesn't care, because all the meanwhile the Lord is looking at you like, aren't you supposed to be mad? Somebody yelled at you or raised their voice at you, and now you're hurt. You hate this person, and now you're looking for an occasion to either cause some get so you can just feel good about yourself, satisfy your hurt ego, or leave and then start doing videos all on this person. And I say the Lord doesn't care, because now He's like, where are the works though? Right? Like you're because now you've made it about yourself. What people don't realize is when you start to just start doing videos, and you'll be doing videos for a while, but it's about you. You are hurt, and so you want everybody else to be on your side. You want to paint this image of ones who at one point you either gave double honors to, or you respected, or you were in a camp with. But now you're hurt, and so they're the most wicked individuals on the planet Earth, and that's all your videos are about. And then there's shots here and there, throwing subliminals here and there. That's not feeding the Lord's sheep. So He's not going to give you the spirit to do that. Why the hell would the Lord give you His spirit so you can come in and, to put it frankly, talk shit about others? What does that serve to edify? The one who brings people in and takes people out is the Most High. So, hey, if the Lord is like, this individual's not right, He'll take them out. They're not going to be taken out because of how many, what hurt videos you do. Okay, but back to the point about sincerity. So, sincerity keeps you on the right track, right? It instills that godly fear inside of your mind. So, whenever something happens, your main focus is, how's the Lord looking at this? How is the Lord looking at me? What is the Lord trying to test in me? That is, when you're sincere about doing the work of the Lord, that is number one priority. And you'll find ways to get it done, because genuinely within you, this is your top priority. So whatever tries to intervene or come in between, it's almost like some people just forget how witty they can be when it comes to something they really want. People will lie, people will steal, people will make excuses, come up with the fuck. Look, you got somebody that wants to call out of work, they're not sick, but they'll say, okay, I want to call out sick either 2 days from now or tomorrow, and just watch how they move. You see how cunning Jake can be. And then you say, wait, so you can do all this, you can plan ahead, you can start the little cough and a little symptoms. I gotta go get checked, I got this, I got that. Now my throat just feels a little, they got all this going around lately, and you set everything up nicely so that immediately when you pull up, it just makes sense. Oh yeah, I did hear him coughing and sneezing and whatever the case was a couple of days ago. You plan all that ahead, right? You start looking for somebody who can possibly cover your shit. And you start doing all of that to make, and maybe you're calling out because you want to go to a party or a concert, or you want to do something else. You find a way to make that happen. You think of a good enough excuse to make it happen. But when there is something inconveniencing doing the work of the Lord, all of a sudden you become dumb. All of a sudden you don't know how to find a way to make doing the work of the Lord happen. All of a sudden it is what it is. But if it was for your favorite concert, it wouldn't be an it is what it is situation. If it was to go on a date with a fine ass chick, it wouldn't be an it is what it is situation. You'd find a way to make it happen. You'd even do a no call no show. And it's one day of a no call no show, but for this chick, if I miss that, I'm not getting it back. So I'm not gonna miss that. So you see, the Lord looks at all these things, and then He says, okay, you're that kind of person. But outwardly, it can't really be seen because sincerity is something it's within you. Nobody you can't teach somebody sincerity, right? You can't teach somebody how to be sincere. Like, you should try to be a bit more sincere. What do you mean? Like, it doesn't work that way. You either are or you're not. The Spirit of the Lord is either on you, He blessed you with that, or He didn't. Right? There are just certain traits that you just can't teach people. And that's why to us or to others, when you see somebody fall out, it can be a scary thing depending on who it is, because then it's like, damn, I didn't see that coming. Like, what happened? But the Lord knows what happened. The Lord knows that person's heart. And others can sense when you're sincere, because you genuinely do it to do it. People that say, and sometimes you really see this in sports. People who are really, really dedicated to their craft, Kobe Bryant, Mayweather, or whoever else is really dedicated to their craft, you'll see that they're always doing what it is that they're doing, whether it's training, being in the gym, whatever it is, they're always doing that same thing. Nobody has to tell them to do it. They don't care if somebody's watching them do it or not. They're doing it just to do it because genuinely it's in them, and that's what they want. They want to get better, so when they go into the ring or go on the court, they can actually show forth their skills. They can do well. So when they wake up, nobody has to tell them, hey, you're trying to go to the gym today, or hey, you got to get your reps in and all of that. Nobody has to tell them that. When they wake up, it's like boom, the corner of your mind. Yep, do this. So the motivation is from within. Right? That spirit that they have, that drive is from within because they're sincere about what they're doing. When they go off, it's not, oh man, I hope brother's gonna find out. It's like, oh shit, like, oh my gosh, Lord, please. All right, and even when you have those dreams where you either go off or you're about to go off, if you wake up and your heart is pounding, and it takes a second for you to realize, all right, it was a dream, it didn't actually happen, and then you get that relief that sets in. So you're like, my heart jumped for a minute because if this wasn't a dream, damn, I'd be cooked. And then reality sets in, and then you calm down. When that sincerity, it becomes a part of you. Right, it seeps into your subconscious. That's why sometimes you'll be sleeping, and in your dream you call upon the name of the Lord. Right, something bad happens to you in your dream, or something is about to happen, and then you immediately, like an instinct, like a reflex, right? You call the name of the Lord. You ask the Lord for help. Whatever situation you're in, it's all the Lord, the Lord, the Lord. That is somebody who's genuinely sincere. That's somebody who's gonna endure unto the end. That's somebody who, when they fall, they get back up because they in their mind they have to get back up. Not because others are gonna look at them and say, "Hey, why are you down?" But because if they don't get back up, how are they gonna continue doing what they like to do or what they're made to do? Who do you know that's, for example, once again, going back to the examples I used, when you take Kobe Bryant, for example, he got injured, right? What would happen if Kobe got injured and said, all right, I'm quitting. I'm not coming back again. He had a paper cut or, a broken finger, and no, that's it. That's it for me. Goodbye. You wouldn't see that. And you wouldn't see that because he's not doing this because somebody's forcing him to do it. The scriptures tell you that, right? Be the Lord, be the Lord. Be the Lord's flock, right? Be the flock not by constraints but willingly. So you got to do this not as if somebody is forcing you to do it, but you got to do it genuinely. You got to want to do it. When you want to do something, it's hard for somebody to stop you from doing it. When you don't want to do something, it's hard for somebody to make you do it. And if it feels like a drag, then the person starts to feel like they're bothering you, And even if they don't say anything, it just bothers you in your mind because it's like, I know what you're thinking. You're like, why am I not doing the work? So why am I not doing this? And you start to feel weird. And if you don't like that feeling, you're like, I don't like feeling this weird feeling. But I still don't want to do anything. It's just going to be a matter of time before the Lord takes you out of there. And then he goes in the day. Find somebody else who's worthy to do the work. That's it. It's a very simple, it's a light thing for the Lord. And all it'll do is, just reveal to everybody else that, okay, this person just weren't, they weren't a part of the Lord's elect. That's it. They didn't make the cut. So that's where they at. So we're not going to drag it on. But the point that I wanted to make is you gotta sincerely have your heart into doing the work of the Lord. Right? You have to, honestly, even if you have to die, right, before your Yahweh Shai came, you got to have it in your mind that this is me. This is how I live now. This is just me. So now, it's not gonna. I'm not gonna stop doing this because if the Lord was to come out and say, all right, you're not getting delivered this year, it's gonna be sometime in the future, but it ain't gonna be this year. All right, well, this is still the life we live. It's not like it's gonna change anything. You're gonna be like, damn, but I wish it was this year, or I wish it was sooner than later. But what's that gonna do? Stop you from going out? Stop you from doing lessons? If you're sincere, it won't. Because you feel weird. You wake up and then you see current events, you see things going on, and you're just there. You feel weird. If you were to travel, you go somewhere and you can't get access to the internet to upload videos or do the works. You start to feel weird. You start to feel like you're being left behind. You start to feel like, damn, or maybe you get connection to be able to see others doing the works, but then you can't because the connection is too slow to upload videos. You feel weird. You're like, damn, I feel like I gotta play catch up now because I'm too far behind. It just feels weird. Then you can't really enjoy your vacation because you're like, damn, So stay sincere, right? Because those that are truly sincere in serving the Lord, He knows their heart, right? They serve Him in spirit and in truth, and those are the ones the Lord is going to give. If they have shortcomings, He's going to help them out. He's going to lift them up. He's going to raise them up, give them whatever it is they need in order to continue in that journey. Because one of the most important things that they need is the right mind, and they have that. So from there on, it's just about maintaining, enduring, and hastening on to the return of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Oh, well, and that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hasham Rechak Wadash. And until next time, Shalom.